welcome to Bad Beat Sports Betting. We're into week 7 already.
Yeah, getting deep in there now.
Joined as always by Steve Primus, Mr. 500 on
Yeah,
the season.
it's my
This keeps on staying around
great
that
season.
500 mark, which is where you want to be.
Want to be a little above it. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get back. I think I was 1 over last week. Or no, I was 50-50, but I started the week good with
Yeah.
the Giants hitting on +4 against the Eagles on Thursday. So hopefully we're riding that momentum.
That was a good pick. I opted out because of my bias, but um, if I was gonna opt out, I would have picked the Giants +4. I actually thought they were gonna win the game even going into that, and they should have won that game. But
Yeah, I agree. They definitely should
Evan
have won.
Ingram, Jones tripping, and
Yeah, it was
just
just a weird game.
bad
Very,
late
very
game
Giants like.
defense. But
At least against the Eagles, they're kind of cursed
yeah,
in Philadelphia the
hopefully
last
soon.
decade.
Hopefully soon that will change, but this is not the year.
Yep.
All right. But moving forward,
We got the other New York team as our first game. The Jets have not. They're 0-6 against the spread this year. Some big spreads they haven't been able to cover. I think Sam Darnold's playing. I'm pretty sure him and Mekhi Becton are both active, and also Denzel Mims, if that makes any difference. But the Bills are still 9.5-point favorites. It's the ultimate get-right game. The Bills need a get-right game after the last 2 weeks. I'm opting out, but I'm interested to see where you're going with this.
All right, so I'm going to take the Bills to cover 9.5. It's a big spread, but the Jets have clearly shown that they are like one, their most dysfunctional organization this year, and two, they're destined to get the number one overall pick. So I think you got to keep betting against the Jets, and you will probably wind up at like hitting 75% or more of those bets this year. So I'm just gonna stick with my trend to bet against the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are. I saw that. I think what year did the Lions go 0-16? Was that 2007?
Yeah, whatever year the Giants beat the Patriots, when the
Yeah, so
Patriots were
that's
having the perfect season.
2007. The Lions at least covered their spreads in 7 of the games. I don't think the Jets are going to cover a spread all season. Like I'm pretty sure they're already 22-point underdogs next week against the Chiefs, which is insane. Speaking of the Lions, that's the next game on the docket. Lions at Falcons, two teams that hate to win games for the most part. They find whatever way possible to lose tragically. The Falcons are 1.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Lions to cover that.
Yeah,
and maybe win the game. I think the Lions are a sneaky playoff team in the NFC.
I don't know about that, but I feel like I'm picking Falcons money line. I both think and want the Falcons to win this game. Uh, I mean, the Falcons, we know their season's pretty much done. No playoffs probably for them, but they're gonna win a couple games this year, for sure. And I think that their defense is not talented at all, but I think their offense has what it. I think there's a game that they can win, and they're gonna rely on their offense. If they'll, so I'm gonna take the Falcons money line for that. If they don't get their offense going early on in the game, then this will be a Lions game. But I have hope that they'll get the offense rolling early.
Then we got Steelers and Titans. This game opened up with the Steelers 1.5-point favorites, and it swung all the way, and now the Titans are 1.5-point favorites. And I'm taking them to cover.
Me too. I don't bet against the Titans. This is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be a real test of the Titans. But
yeah, I might watch this game instead of the Jets game, even though they're both at 1.
I think if the Titans can get Derrick Henry running and get some holes for him early on, I think this is a Titans game. I think it's gonna be. I think the big matchup to watch is the Steelers run defense versus Titans run offense.
Yeah, it's an
And even then, I
immovable
mean,
force against an unstoppable
yeah.
object, or whatever that saying is.
And even then, I mean, Tannehill's been playing pretty well, but I think in this game if they can stick to what got them deep in the playoffs. I think they're gonna have to last year. I think they're gonna have to look to run games like that.
Yeah, it's a big are you for real game for the Titans,
Yeah.
I'd say. And also for the Steelers too, like their wins haven't come against top-notch opponents for the most part this year.
Yep.
Then Panthers at Saints. The Saints injury report just keeps on piling up. Michael Thomas is out again. Emmanuel Sanders is out again. They're still favored by 6.5. I think it went down a little bit after the injury news, but I think a divisional game, I think the Panthers could definitely cover this.
Yeah, I can see the Panthers even winning this game. I'm not gonna get that bold and take the Panthers money line, but yeah, I agree with you. I think the Panthers will definitely cover this. I think it's gonna be a close game throughout. Divisional matchup, banged up Saints. I think this is a no-brainer here to take the Panthers. Panthers to cover, to beat that spread.
Then we're going head-to-head on this next one, Packers at Texans.
Well, that's because you don't like the Packers. You don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's true. And they did get embarrassed last week, so I definitely get the logic that they're going to come out and play really well. But no Aaron Jones. The offense kind of runs best when it's through him, in my opinion. So I'm taking the Texans to cover the 3-point spread.
And I think the Packers should easily get this 3-point spread. I mean, Devontae Adams will be playing. I think the Texans aren't that great. I mean, the Texans aren't a terrible team, but I think with the way their season's been going, they're not playing too great. And I totally could see Aaron Rodgers and the pass offense picking them apart. So I'm going to take the Texans to cover that. And I think they're going to cover that pretty easily. I'm going to get bold and say that it's going to be more like a 7-point thing or more.
Yeah, I could see the Pack. I feel like that's how the Packers work. They either win big or. Actually, I can't even say that by fact. I don't know if they've won close games this year. I can't remember. Next game, rematch from Week 2's Thursday night football game. Browns at Bengals. The Browns are 3.5-point favorites. I don't think that they'll have Nick Chubb. The Bengals will not have Joe Mixon. I'm taking the Browns to win. The Browns season is kind of like they bully the weaker teams and then fall flat against the good teams like the two in their division. So I think that they'll bully the Bengals a little bit. And it's not a big spread like the first time, so I don't think that there'll be a backdoor cover situation.
Yeah, that's like I'm gonna take the Browns here. Again, I know like they don't have their running backs. But like both teams, but the Browns have more talent on offense to make up for that compared to the Bengals.
So, yeah, and Odell's not going to be a nice guy anymore. So.
No. Yeah, we got Odell there. Tight end situation's pretty good there.
Well, actually, no Austin Hooper either.
Oh,
he
yeah.
had the appendicitis, which we know from Jimmy in our fantasy.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, that might affect it a little bit. But I still think I would still take the Browns to cover this.
Cowboys at Washington football team.
Yeah.
Washington football team is actually favored by a point here.
Yeah, that surprises me. I know that. I mean, I get why. I guess, no Dak. The Dallas defense is proving to be horrendous. And they're falling apart. They had a terrible game against the Cardinals last Monday. But I don't know. I'm going to go Cowboys money line. I mean, we're talking a Dakless Cowboys, which is not great, and their defense is horrendous, as we've pointed out. But Washington football team, again, is also a circus, kind of like the Jets. And I can see the Cowboys riding Zeke to a victory in this game.
Yeah, I could see that. Hopefully he gets the fumbling issue under control.
Yeah, please.
I feel like the lines makers are looking at the football team's pass rush against a depleted O-line for the Cowboys, and that's they probably think that's going to have an impact, and I agree with them. So I'm going to take the football team -1, which is basically a pick 'em. But I guess if it's a 1-point game, then I'll push. It's happened before. 49ers at Patriots. A lot of angles to this game, like a revenge game for Jimmy Garoppolo, a one that got away game for Bill Belichick because he loved Garoppolo, revenge game for Shanahan after he blew the 2016 Super Bowl. Patriots open -3. 49ers also don't have their two best running backs, if that makes a difference. I think the Patriots will cover at home. I can't see a Bill Belichick coach team losing 3.
No. That's one of the main reasons I'm taking the Patriots. And because, again, I know Jimmy G's back and all, which is going to help the 49ers. But the 49ers, in my opinion, just haven't played well this year at all. And I know a lot of that's the injuries. But I see no reason to pick against the Patriots with this game.
I agree. I think it'll be a quick game, too, with a lot of running the football, running the clock. If you could find a over-under on total time of game somewhere, I would go under on that. Chiefs at Broncos. A lot of divisional games this week.
Yeah, they scheduled all the divisional games like later in the season, I noticed. Which
is
how they
usually
because
they didn't know if they would have to cancel early games, which they did have to do it a little bit. So now, as a big divisional, they're catching up with those games. And they all end early, like the Giants season series against the Redskins and Eagles will be over before week 12, I think. And then they just have the Cowboys week 17. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites in Denver. I'm taking the Broncos to cover. I just like the way that they've been playing lately. Like they came out and bullied the Patriots a little bit. They're going to need to score touchdowns instead of 6 field goals. Like that won't fly against the Chiefs offense. But the Chiefs have shown they have holes.
Yeah, the Chiefs do have holes. I'm going to still pick them. I totally get the logic with why you're picking against them. I always just find it hard to pick against the Chiefs. It's one of those where, like, I feel like you're going to do better than 500 if you consistently throughout the season pick the Chiefs to cover their spread. You're probably looking at like 70% return rate there. But I think the Chiefs will pull this through. I think they need to, for one. But yeah, no, I could totally see they have struggled in divisional matchups like that Chargers game. If there was a game to pick against the Chiefs, like I'm just following my personal trends, and that's why I'm sticking with the Chiefs all year. But if there was a game to pick against the Chiefs, it probably would be this one.
And you're right, the Chiefs are 4-2 against the spread this season. After starting 0, actually no, that can't be true. They must have started 0-1 because they definitely didn't cover against the Raiders. But yeah, 4-2. So if you just keep constantly bet on Patrick Mahomes, you're making good money. Then
not as good as
Jaguars
he's
and
making
Chargers.
money.
Chargers are 7.5-point favorites, which is kind of big. But I have faith in Justin Herbert over Gardner.
No, Jaguars have not looked good. I have until I guess like 1 o'clock to decide if I want to put Chark in or not, which just sucks because he's a great player. But yeah, the Jaguars have just proven that they can't get it done. Minshew's so hit or miss.
Yeah, I saw. I think Ian Rappaport tweeted that they can go to Mike Glennon potentially in this game if Minshew struggles early.
Yeah, I think that's the thing you're gonna have to look at is, are we getting the Minshew that we've been seeing the past couple weeks, or are we gonna get that like Florida man gunslinging Minshew? But I think regardless, I like the way the Chargers are playing lately. And I definitely have more faith in Herbert than I do either quarterback of the Jaguars. So I'm going to take Chargers to cover that 7.5.
Yeah, and the Chargers have lost some pretty heartbreaking games, like against the Saints, and some close games. Like they played well against the Chiefs. I think that they'll just take care of business in this game, and it won't be that close. The next game was supposed to be the primetime game, but it got moved up because they didn't know if it was going to happen. Buccaneers at Raiders. Buccaneers are 4.5 point favorites on the road. I think it's definitely a reaction to how they just steamrolled the Packers last week. But I don't know about 4.5 points on the road against a pretty good Raiders team.
Yeah, that's the thing. I almost think we're just going off of like past trends here, like last year. Like I think we're just expecting the like you know people just I don't know if the lines makers just associating that the Raiders are bad like they've been in the past, or if it's really that they believe in the Buccaneers after what they did last week. But I think this is gonna be a very close game, and I honestly can see the Raiders winning. So I'm gonna take the Raiders against the spread here.
Yeah, I'm taking them against the spread as well. I think they also had concerns that some of their offensive linemen weren't going to play, but now they're reporting that they were all activated and ready to go. So I think that they could definitely stay in the game on the back of Josh Jacobs. Then the game flexed into the primetime spot was Seahawks and Cardinals. Seahawks are 3.5 point favorites. I think this will be an exciting game for sure.
I think this one makes more sense. This should have been the Sunday night game originally if they're out of those two. Like Buccaneers and Raiders. Is it just because of Tom Brady that was the Sunday
Probably,
night
and
game?
they also like John Gruden, I guess. I don't know.
Like that makes no sense. There's no like history there.
Yeah, I
It's
definitely agree
it's
with you.
and it's not even like an interconference game. That made no sense. This makes way more sense. Divisional
Oh,
game
you know
against.
what it is? John Gruden coached the Buccaneers, so there's history.
Uh,
They would have just went with that angle for the
yeah,
entire
what was that like?
podcast.
How long ago was that?
Seahawks at Cardinals. I'm taking the Seahawks to cover, but I think it'll
Yeah,
be a
me too.
close back and
Oh
forth
yeah,
game.
I think it's gonna
I
be an
think
exciting
every
game.
single wide receiver out there will probably go over their number.
I think one, if anyone's taking an over in a game, I think this. I don't know what it. I'll look it up right now. The over in this game is 54. Under over is 54. I would take that in a heartbeat. Um, but yeah, Seahawks. I see them covering this. I think this can be an exciting game. A lot of offense. I think if you have if you have Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson in fantasy, I think you're gonna be having a good week on this game. But yeah, Seahawks. Right now, if we're talking about outdueling each other, I take Russell Wilson over Kyler Murray at this point in their careers right now. So give me Seahawks to cover that 3.5 spread.
For sure. Bears at Rams is the last game of the week. Monday night. Rams are 6 point favorites, which I'm not really understanding why. With the, I mean, the Bears are a fluky 5-1 based on their plus minus on the season, but still, like you are what your record shows. You win close games, you stay in games. Their
Yeah,
defense is still phenomenal. I think it'll be a close game. I'm not confident that the Bears will win on the road, so I'm just taking the 6 points, but I think that they'll cover it.
yeah, I'm with you right there. With Bears have been keeping their games close, and I think yeah, even if the Bears lose this game, they're gonna keep it close and be hanging in there to the end. So you're looking at more like a 3 point game than a 6 point game if they were to lose. So I would for sure go the Bears against the spread here when the
And
spread is
that
6 points
wraps
like
up
that.
the slate of games for this week.
Yeah,
The matchups are good. Like every week, it seems to be stepping up. We had 2 weeks ago when the matchups were like disgusting. There were no real good games to watch, and last week was decent. This week might be the best week of football we're gonna see.
yeah. This should be a good week for sure, and it's nice to see that the COVID drama is starting to lighten up a little bit this week compared to the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, no Tuesday night football.
Even though I kind of like the Tuesday night football, I did not like Monday 5 o'clock football though.
Yeah, that was too early
They should
for
have
sure.
did. They should have just did what they do in the future if they're gonna do that again. Just do what you do week one of Monday Night Football. Just flex in like a West Coast at 10 o'clock and do a 7:15 start for the other.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah,
Even if you miss a little bit of the first quarter
yeah,
of the later game, who cares?
but that wraps up this slate. Good luck everyone.
Yep,
Be
bet
responsible.
responsibly.
Put no houses unless you have a lot of houses. Unless you have Unless you're Patrick Mahomes, don't put the house on anything.